a gallon of gas cost in 1981?
97 cents?
$1.25.
Wow.
Which was a lot of money back then. It's $3.40. I just filled it up at $3.45, so it's roughly $2.20 difference. And but pretty interesting stats. And then we're going to talk a little bit about the last 13 weeks. We've been doing this week over week and kind of figure out how we know we love graphs and bars.
Oh,
and
I love graphs.
Data and
I love data
and stuff. But it'll be pretty interesting. It's kind of a little wavy. Let's say the difference between the homes that are coming on the market and going pending. This is week over week, of course. And then I've asked Judah to have his microphone ready because I'm going to see if Judah's got some 1981 trivia.
I don't think Judah listened to you.
I can see Judah didn't listen.
I don't think Judah listened to you.
I can see Judah did not bring his egg. We might have to make Judah put the cameras on still and sit next to us. I was counting on Judah knowing some knowledge.
Well, I mean, we're going to need a camera on you, so.
No, it's okay. We'll do it tomorrow. We won't.
Tomorrow.
We might ask him to talk in a little bit.
We're going to have a lot of fun, guys. Give the show a like and a share anywhere you're watching. The Monday after Thanksgiving.
How was your Thanksgiving?
It was fantastic. It's absolutely fantastic. Judah Wickower, we can rock and roll when you are ready, my friend. Guys, welcome to the Monday Market Monitor, one of our sister brands here for Real Talk. It's great to be with you on a gorgeous and chilly Monday in Charlottesville, Albemarle County, in the Commonwealth of Virginia, guys. So much to cover on today's show. Back in the saddle, recharged, fired up, and ready to head into 2022. Before we get there, Christmas upon us. Certainly the holiday season. Judah Wickower is our director. Keith Smith's the star of our program. We'll welcome the distinguished gentleman to the show. My friend, how are you?
You know, if I was doing any better, I'd be Jerry Miller.
There we go.
That's how good life is. No, it was great. We had a great family get-together. You know, obscene amount of Smiths and the related folks over the house, and ate a little bit too much turkey, but I've been trying to work off that 4,500 calories that everybody partaked in.
I certainly did.
Yeah, and you know, it's true. You know, everybody came back the second day, and it just seemed to taste so much better, and pressure was off, heated up. It just worked out really great, and fried up a turkey, baked the turkey.
One of my favorite photos was James, Harry, you, another gentleman in your backyard.
So that's my other brother-in-law, Jeff Wooton.
Okay.
So he's...
you guys were holding a fried turkey.
Yeah.
And I think Nikki Chambliss commented this looked like the cover of a band album.
Yeah, we now call ourselves Turkey 5 instead of Maroon 5, Turkey 5.
Turkey 5.
It's a bunch of 5 turkeys, man.
You're such a turkey.
We are turkeys. We are turkeys. So, look, first and foremost, thanks for Closure Title and thanks for Ally Property.
Absolutely.
Couldn't do this without you guys.
Segura Solar.
Segura Solar. The list is long as it's rolling across the bottom of the screen on that end of it. But you know, we normally we have real estate agents or other realtors with us, but today I just kind of wanted just to do a little Batman and Robin this a little bit. So I've been tracking the week over weeks for now 13 weeks. September 1 is when we started this, and those who know me or watch the show know we like graphs and data and bar charts and all that stuff. But it is really interesting. Last week, the week number 3 in November, we were kind of on par. We had 82 units come on, 84 units go off. This week, we went back the other direction. We went 44 came on, and 89 went off. Right, and if later on we'll ask Judah to drop in the diagram that I created or the chart that I created.
You emailed it to him, right?
I did.
Yeah. So J-Dubs, when you have an opportunity, we can get that on screen. Listings, guys, week over week. So the past week that Keith just tracked, week 4 November, 44 active listings. Thank you, Judah. It's on the screen. Look at the screen. Look at the screen. 44 active listings.
Now that's in the car footprint.
In the car footprint.
Car footprint.
89 went pending. That means a difference of 45. 44 went on the market. 89 went under contract. That's a minus 45 retraction right there.
So of the 13 weeks, 1, 2, 3, only 4 of them were on par, meaning the same amount of units that came on, or homes that came on, that went off awfully close. Some of them went over the second week of September and the third week of September were huge sales months. So there was a lot more pending, active, I apologize, that went on that. Then, so the line is pending, the bars are active on that end of it. But, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 of them we're under.
And J-Dubs, this is the one we want to get up. If you can get that on screen for us. Thank you very much. That's in Keith's email.
Sorry about that.
No problem. Alfred's a very adaptable individual over there.
Well, always keep Alfred happy, because Alfred is what makes us look good.
Alfred's always happy.
There you go.
Alfred's always happy.
So I don't know what it means. I think some folks will look at that and go, well, that is really not a representative of the market in a whole. But I like looking at the week over week trends, just like you do at the stock market, right?
Yeah.
Or any other thing. You kind of take a look at the week over week trends, and the pendings are outperforming the actives, or the one that's coming on the market. So again, this is a great time to put your home on the market.
Not much competition, guys.
Not much I mean, you can take a look at it. The last week of November, which included Thanksgiving in it, right? That goes from Sunday to Sunday. It was 89 homes went pending. So that means, in that last week, 89 folks wrote contracts and got accepted to contracts on homes during Thanksgiving week.
Now, the data you're tracking, homes are they selling above asking price customarily? Multiple offer situations customarily. What's going on?
So as far as multiple offers and selling over, I'm only looking at active and pending. I'd have to look at the sold end of it to go see that, which I have not done as of yet. And maybe that's a good thing. Maybe we should add a third bar into this. But I was really trying to focus on the tempo of the market, right? What's coming on, what's going off. I would think we're probably going to hit somewhere on, if you take a look at an average, and some real estate agents that are watching can chime in on it. I could probably say, when I take a look at it, you're hitting somewhere around 97, 98, pretty close to 100% of list price. You don't really see that much of a fluctuation overall.
So you're saying 97, 98% of list price.
That's usually been the case.
You put your home on the market, you ask for a number, and 97 to 98% of that
Roughly.
number is what you're getting, roughly.
Yeah.
And look at the screen, guys. We have a very good graph on the screen now with some strong data. It shows you week over week from September, the first week of September, to the fourth week of November, active versus pending. And I think if you look at this data, you will see on this graph that the homes are coming on the market at a much lower frequency than they're coming off the market, which is an indication, I will say this, that is certainly a seller's market.
It's a seller's market, but it's also a buyer's market, right? The buyers are outperforming pretty much.
I'll play devil's advocate.
Go ahead.
If 2 to 1 this past week, essentially 2 to 1, right?
Yeah, it's about 2 to 1. Yeah.
2 to 1. 2 homes went under contract. 1 home went on the market.
Roughly.
Mm-hmm. And you're saying 97 to 98% of purchase asking price is what is actually heading to the sellers. I would say that's the definition of a buyer's market. A seller's market, excuse me. A seller's market.
About to say, a seller's market. But what we don't want to do is I look at it as usually you and I sometimes do. I look at this thing a little bit differently.
Okay.
You're 100% right. It's a seller's market, but the fact that that we had 89 units go under contract during Thanksgiving week. We were talking about this, right? We were talking about what was this season going to look like. Now, keep in mind, that's week number 1 of the quote-unquote holiday season, right? The November, December kind of holiday season, and will there be an uptick, or will they maintain the steady pace of sales? Again, so I look at the holiday season, depending on if you listen to the radio, it started a week ago.
You listen to the radio?
I do, actually.
Okay.
I actually do. The Christmas music started a little earlier, it seems, this year.
Oh, it did? Before Thanksgiving?
It started before, so...
Did you think that was like Bizarro World?
Yeah, this is getting insane, but I don't want to offend people
No.
that love
My
Christmas.
wife loves it. I mean, there was stuff in like the Costco's
in August.
I know.
Well, and it's funny to talk about that. We went to Costco to get for the meal for the 30-something people that we had coming in there, and I went in there expecting to see a little light on product, and that was absolutely not the case. The place was packed with food and packed with people. I said an Our Father before I went in because I wasn't sure if I was going to make it out.
And that's why they have red wine.
But you're not supposed to drink it before you pay for it.
Oh, okay, that's right.
Not supposed to drink.
Thank you for reminding me of that.
Not supposed to drink that before you pay for it. I mean, I guess you could. I don't know. I don't know if there's a rule against that, but you'd have to wait a little while before you get in your car because we're responsible people. But yeah, so it's interesting on that. We're gonna track this. I set the spreadsheet up so it's going to continue along, and we're spreadsheet geeks. We love this stuff, and we're just trying to see if it's going to go back and forth. But my gut's telling me that we're not going to see a kind of slowdown. I mean, if you take a look at it, we had something to focus on. We had, a cut in half units going on the market, right? So last week there was 82. We cut in half down to 44. But the week before that, we're at 46. So these numbers coming on and off are fluctuating up and down. I mean, in a perfect world, we'd want to see that bar even across. Yeah. But, so I don't, there's some smarter and sharper, more folks looking at this. Maybe they can weigh in on it a little bit. But I just thought it was an interesting thing to kick the week off.
I think it's extremely interesting. 2-1, guys. Homes are going under contract first coming on the market as active listings, 2-1. And as the distinguished gentleman just let us know, 97 to 98% of asking price is retained by the seller.
So I'm going to ask everybody who's listening or watching today to tune in tomorrow. I will bring in the sales data and confirm that number. We'll bring in the actual numbers. This is just off the top of the head from numbers I was looking at over the weekend. But tomorrow we'll bring in, exactly what the median sales price is over this 13 weeks, how many days on market, and so forth and so on.
What's the red hot price point right now?
The
price point that's moving the best.
That's a great question. I think they all are.
Yeah.
That sounds like an easy question or a softball question or a little bit of an off the cuff answer, but it's true. Even historically, some of the upper end product would sit a little bit longer, but that's really not the case. There's a lot of product in the market, a lot of people trying to buy and sell, and I think the fact that interest rates are creeping up a little bit, and I don't really think they're going to bounce up to the 4%. I think they're going to stay under 4% in 2022 unless something serious happens that nobody knows about at this point. But everything that I'm reading about, and we're going to bring in Scott Morris in to talk about this here shortly, next few days, next few weeks on that end of it. But I think there's a little bit of a push for folks to get into the market. We talk about affordability all the time.
Yeah. You've seen it?
It's hard to come by.
Yeah.
Affordability is what's suffering here.
Is this the most challenging time for a first-time home buyer? You've been in real estate since 87?
87, but I got numbers from 81 to...
I know. Have you ever seen a more challenging time for first-time home buyers than right now, including the time of those 18% interest rates when you were buying your home, your first home?
Look at this, I'm actually thinking.
Yeah. I like when you think. Christopher Eagle, hello.
Hey, Chris Eagle.
We love you, Christopher Eagle.
Love him very much. you know, when first-time home buyers can't buy what they want to buy for whatever reason, it's challenging. When we bought our first house in '87, it was super challenging.
But there was inventory.
There was inventory. My problem is getting money.
Yeah.
Right. So that pendulum swung a different way. Right. It was very hard to get money. I couldn't even get a VA loan at that particular point in time in my life.
Why could you get? What year was that?
'87.
Why?
88. We moved there in '87. It was actually '88.
Why was it so difficult to find money in '88?
The regulatory requirements were much higher. Banks were not that excited about doing it. We're going to talk about 1981. You got to remember, we just came out of 81 of one of the largest recessions next to the Great Depression was in the first 80s. So we weren't actually worked our way out through that by the time 87, 88 came around. But it was hard to get money. It was hard. Back in 1981, the typical down payment was 20%. So 87, 88, it was pretty much the same, right? So you were buying a $150,000 house, which kind of was upper end at that time. You needed to bring 20 grand to the table.
Yeah, 30K is 20%.
Yeah, that too.
Yeah.
That too. That's that number too. But the point is, we were young. We were in our 20s. I was just out of the Marine Corps. Who had $30,000, right? So that was difficult to do that. The VA product at the time sucked, frankly. The Veterans Administration loans stunk at that end of it. So
how's it changed? Is it much better now?
Oh yeah, much.
Put it in perspective.
Oh, you can actually get a loan.
Yeah.
You couldn't get a loan. I couldn't get a loan. Couldn't get a VA loan. Just came out of serving our country for half a decade. I couldn't get a loan. Right? But that was the point. Yona and I needed to bring 30,000. I think we were able to get the down payment down to somewhere around 20 grand, if I remember the math right. But we needed to do that. Now the typical down payment is about 13% nationwide, but you can get into loans as little as zero down. That product was not available in the 80s.
Does the zero down situation not terrify you?
That was the second reason I had to think.
I mean,
Look at you.
0% down, zero skin in the game to start, and if the house has a hiccup and a downturn.
You have to put it into historical context and perspective, right? Zero down during the run up to the great time of unpleasantness in the 2000 was a bad idea. Now, the homes are appreciating enough. When we sit down and have, look, let's put it this way. Interest rates are so low now, money zero down at 18% didn't make a lot of sense, right? Zero down at 3% or 4%, it's free money, right? So you can pay down this debt a little bit faster on that end of it. But I counsel first-time home buyers that if they can put two things. If they can't put cash in,
overpay an extra month a year.
2 extra months a year is what we normally do. That's hard, right? That means you have to have the discipline to do it. Right, you have to go ahead and do that. But let's look at it a different way. If I can get into a zero down into a home that is less than a rent payment, why the hell wouldn't I do it? What's the downside?
That makes sense here. The tough part with zero down, and we got to be honest. We got a responsibility to be honest.
So you're saying if the market takes a crap, you've got no wiggle room.
Here's the tough part with zero down. If the market takes a crap, you have no wiggle room, which you just said, very, very, very poetically.
Really?
Poetically. Also,
I got to get the turkey hats back out.
No, we don't have to get the turkey hats. Both our hairs are looking good. We don't want to mess them up. Also, the PMI.
Well, you said that so fast and smooth.
We got the PMI piece with 0%.
That is
down.
true. That is true.
And we should put in perspective PMI. We should cover all the mechanics.
No, that's a great thing. But when I say you're all in, when you're all in is your So for those who watch who do not know what PMI is, it's private mortgage insurance. If you're over, if you, I think it's 78% or 80%, whichever it is. If you are over that, then they're requiring.
Your equity is generally less than 20%.
That's correct.
You're required to have private mortgage insurance.
So you're looking at first-time home.
A nice little chunk of money you're paying every month.
It is. You also can pay that down.
You can pay that down. Also, we would encourage the viewers that's watching, as you start building equity in your home, you should follow the PMI piece in your mortgage statement, because the bank is not going to tell you to stop paying the PMI.
No.
You have to bring it to the bank's attention or your lender's attention to stop paying the
Typically,
PMI.
when it hits not 80%, when you hit 78%, and Scott Morris would confirm this, when you hit 78%, then you can pick up the phone
and
or
say, no more.
No more.
Yeah.
What is that? What? No.
No soup for you.
No.
No soup for you.
Always love a good Seinfeld reference.
You and I both love Seinfeld.
Yeah. No soup for you. Look, when you're 3%, 4%, sub 3%, your PITI, principal, interest, taxes, insurance, HOA, and your PMI are less than a rental payment, why wouldn't you do it?
Yeah, it makes sense then.
Right?
Yeah, and in a market
because you're
like
starting
this,
to build equity
exactly
for yourself. You're doing generational wealth
right
on this kind of stuff instead of building up somebody else's generational. But but we also struggle right now, and we're going to bring in Suzanne Reel and to talk about this. If not Monday, the next Monday, I can't remember which one. I have to look at the calendar on that end of it to talk about the impact on the rental market and where rental rates are going and stuff like that. But I've got this side by side analysis between 81 and 21. But it's what was over here? There's a rental end of it somewhere over here. So. Let's go over here for a second. So it was interesting. The median age of the first-time home buyer in 1981 was 29. It's now 33 or 34 years old.
Which makes sense.
Which totally makes sense.
Everyone's doing things later now, having kids, starting families, buying homes. That's part of the pinch we're in, because the millennials now buying home in waves, as opposed to kind of staggering throughout the millennial generation of purchase.
Hold on a second. I've got a number here, somewhere in here. Average monthly rent in 1981 was $315, United States.
In 1981, the average monthly rent was $315.
$315.
And now?
Oh God, $1,600, $1,200, $1,400.
Depends on what kind of place.
Depends on the place you're trying to get, but you're not going to find anything it's hard to find something sub 1,000.
Oh, yeah.
Next to impossible.
Yeah.
Except we've got a project coming up in Fluvanna County that will actually provide that next year.
Where is that?
So that's that Colonial Circle we've been talking about forever. There's going to be a 125-unit apartment complex in there, and the build of the apartment complex petitioned Fluvanna County for a real estate tax incentive to provide affordable rental housing for folks making 50 to 70% area median income. So there'll be 1-bedroom, 2-bedrooms at around or below that 1,000 mark in today's dollars. It'll come on the line about a year, maybe a year and a half from now, once the construction is complete on that end of it. But they've committed to that. I believe it's for 20 years. So that's a huge step in the right direction on that end of it. But it's an interesting, thinking. I've been thinking back because I've been reading this 81 and thinking about when I got out of the Marine Corps in the mid 80s and what the economy was like and what it was. And it was a great question to ask. What was the affordable or what was the first time home buyer looking like at that particular point in time? And it was hard to get a loan. So therefore, you couldn't buy it. Even if the inventory was up, which it was, the inventory was not what it is now, but it was so hard to borrow money. Now it's so easy to borrow money, but the inventory just isn't there.
I'll tell you what, I think today's market is obviously, I'm going to stick by the statement, a strong seller's market. I hope as we head out of Christmas and into next year, we'll start seeing an uptick of inventory. We're both concerned that may not be the case. We're both a little bit hesitant that will continue being the amount of listings we have, which is slim and trim and not many at all. I think we're both in agreement that the buyer pool is ridiculously deep. And the unfortunate aspect is we're heading into leasing season. And as we're heading into leasing season, potential buyers are left with this dilemma. Am I going to ink another one-year lease, Keith?
Yeah, and
Because the spring is leasing season.
the spring
It's
is
renewals.
It's renewals.
Yeah.
Some of them don't hit that cycle, but for the most
A
part,
lot of them do.
For the most part, it's
Yeah.
usually the beginning of the year and the spring to go ahead and do that. Yeah, we've received a couple of phone calls about people that want to put their houses on the market and folks that want to buy. And particularly on the buy side, first of all, you have to find a home to buy. And then and I'm going to pivot the question a little bit. The question was, can I close by the end of the year? And that, for the most part, the answer is no at this point, unless it's a cash deal or something like that, because, when you start talking to all the closers, Charlottesville Settlement, Bill Tucker, all these folks that are doing it just to get the loans put together and the paperwork put together by the end of the year, they're already booked up for December. So we're looking already now. If you're writing a contract now, for the most part, that doesn't mean some miracles can happen and there's a schedule in it, but for the most part, you're looking in January closings. I want to bring up a statistic, a number.
Please.
There's 81 to 2021, 40 years difference on it. So all this conversation we've been having about the flum,
Yeah.
right? So
Future land use map.
50 in 1981, 76% of all the sales sold were single-family homes. Would you want to take a gander what 2021 was?
Types of homes.
So, single-family detached homes.
Uh-huh.
In 81, 76% of all the sales were single-family detached. 2021, that number jumped to 82.
Really?
So that means back in 81,
There were more condos and townhomes.
people were buying more townhomes. People were buying more multifamily. So again, I talk about this, what's old is new again.
Yeah.
On that end of it, you also have to put into a little perspective on that end of it. Some jurisdictions in the state of Virginia really didn't adapt their zoning ordinance into the late 70s. Right, so there was stock that was in the market long before the late 70s that adopted it. I think Fluvanna County was 78 or somewhere along those lines in that end of it. So there was homes that were getting built that were duplexes, but that was an interesting number. So back in
Why
80...
don't you see as many condos and townhomes built?
Well, that's a great question. So a lot of it is regulatory reasons. So you'd have to take a look at what the regulatory requirements were in 81 versus 2021 on that end of it. My suspicion is it was less than it is now on that end of it. A lot of it is also the financing end of it, right? Back then, there was money for condos and so forth and so on. Now there isn't, right? Because you got this rule that if it's 51% controlled by an investor, it's not warrantable, right? So those who are not familiar with condo financing, the big struggle that lenders have in it because of these couple of blips that we had between the 80s until now, where one individual or one entity would own most of the units, therefore they can control the HOA or they can control the condo association. So it's harder to borrow money. It's also harder now, and it's something that has to change, to borrow money to build a condo. I'm a developer and builder. To borrow money to build a condo and borrow money to build duplexes and quads is almost non-existent. So this is another component of the steps that changing this flum and trying to create more units. There's a section of this that nobody's talking about, which is, okay, how is Keith and Jerry going to fund this, right? So if I don't have a loan product, what they call an acquisition and development loan product for that, and it's only leaning towards single-family detached stuff, how am I going to build it, right? Is there going to be federal money available? Maybe that's the answer. But, how are we going to do that? We're either going to come up with a ton of cash to go ahead and do that, and that's kind of silly at 3 or 4%.
Yeah.
Or there isn't a loan product out there to do that. One of the things we'll bring on a commercial lender to talk a little bit about, what's available for development loans and building loans.
Which commercial lenders are making the most moves in this market?
So I've always done local, right?
So you go through what? Blue Ridge,
Blue Ridge,
little William Krebs at CNF.
Union Bank and Trust.
Yeah,
CNF, TJ over there. So it's usually local folks that I always used to use.
Kelly Dye at First Citizens.
Correct. So the local lenders, to me, always work better because they understood the market to do that. But if they don't have the product available, then you can't borrow it. So then you move and you're pivoting back to the single-family detached product because so the lenders, the lending industry is going to have to catch up with the zoning industry and the zoning of it, and also the site plan and so forth and so on that end of it. But I thought that was interesting. We're almost, not quite 10%, but we're at 82% versus 76 single family thing. And the other interesting number, it's up on who uses agents, right? Back in 81, only 82% of buyers or sellers use a real estate agent. Now it's up to 88%.
Are you more likely to see a buyer or seller not use an agent? Most likely a seller, right?
Yes.
I mean, because you guys have the lock boxes, it's going to be tough for a buyer to get into a home without a agent.
I can tell you, we do, as you well know, a tremendous amount, a decent amount of business. Very rarely do I hear somebody saying, I think I can sell it myself. It's not as much as you think it is.
Yeah.
And the 82% the 88% kind of dictates that. And you can kind of take a look at the whole picture, but it's not as much as everybody thinks it is. Look, let's face it, the path from putting my house on the market to closing it is very difficult these days. And it requires a lot of expertise and a lot of professionalism to get us from contract to close. How do you navigate the home inspection process? How do you navigate the appraisal process? All of a sudden the buyer changes its mind and wants to use a different loan product. You're in Lake Monticello and all of a sudden there's HOA problems. How do you deal with that and work with the other side? But back in 81, part of the reason why I think that it was easier, because it was easier for the transaction to happen. Now, since the great time of unpleasantness, it is difficult. It requires a tremendous amount of knowledge and skill to navigate the process. Some people can do it well. I'm sitting across from one that does it well. But most people don't want to go through that brain damage.
I wouldn't advise that for anybody.
Well, I mean...
Do not do it. Do not do it.
If you're a sophisticated seller or buyer, but I'll tell you, I tell you what phone calls I do get.
Yeah. Do not do it with anybody.
I tell you what phone calls I do get.
Which phone calls do you get?
I'm trying to sell this myself. I'm in the middle of.
Do you get a lot of those?
Oh, absolutely.
Really?
Absolutely.
Who people you know have done that?
Yeah, people we know. Yeah.
Okay.
Usually.
And in that scenario, you got to be like, dude, this is what I do for a living.
Yeah, so it's all about relationships and all that kind of great stuff. We got to get through agency now. Who's representing who and all this kind of great stuff. And
if someone tries to do it themselves and then they pick up the phone and call you and say, I need some help. That is when you got to be like, hey man, it's like this is how my
how long have we? I would never do that.
This is how it just is disrespectful.
Yeah.
My father-in-law is a retired mechanic, and you know how many guys in his neighborhood would be like, give him a call on a Saturday or Sunday, his off day, and be like, Tim, I got an issue with the car. Can you come over here and help me out? And you'll do it once because you're a good guy. He would do it once because he's a good guy. Then eventually he'd be like, this is my day off. Bring it, come see me in the shop on Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday. I mean, isn't that how you handle it?
So I had a phone call on Thanksgiving Day.
See, that is just that's nuts.
In the middle of frying turkey.
From someone trying to do it themselves.
They weren't. No. I got a phone call on Thanksgiving Day asking me about an HOA problem and how to navigate it, and at Lake Monticello, and there was
on Thanksgiving Day.
On Thanksgiving Day, yeah. I answered the phone, though. I had a choice not to answer the phone. But this is relationships. We're trusted advisors. This is what we do, right? And we helped him navigate through that process. It was...
Was it straightforward?
For me, it was straightforward because I had an answer for him because I knew what he was trying to do, and we helped him through that. And it was around surveys, and they built a shed that they didn't get permission for, and how does this work, and what do I do, and blah blah blah.
Get
blah,
ready
blah.
to tear it down.
No, we didn't need to tear it down. I went over and looked at it on Friday, and found out that it was in compliance, and all they needed to do was pay the fee, and they were in good shape. But if they were not in compliance, the good news was it wasn't on a foundation. They just needed to. They were awfully close to the building setback line and all that stuff. They needed to pay extra money to get a survey and prove that I was right. But turns out that they were right. Found out this morning that I was right.
Does the Lake HOA have the tree cutting down guidelines?
They do.
Yeah? How stringent is that? Are they just looking for the, hey, give us the green light? Or is it ball busting?
Yeah, ball busting is a bit of a, that's a big word, right? Just saying. I'm a little uncomfortable right now.
Is that the two containers of water you had before you got here?
2 containers?
No,
it's actually the 12 miles I did in Oregon, and my hammies getting a little bit tight here at the moment. So the rule is if it's dead, you're allowed to cut it down without asking. Or if it's over, I believe it's over 6 inches, 1 foot off of the ground, right? If it's the circumference of it is over 6 inches, you're supposed to ribbon them off. You send in your application. I believe it's due on Thursday by 4 p.m. They come out the following Tuesday. They say yes, and then you can go ahead and cut them down. So the question becomes, if you cut them down, how they really enforce that.
Yeah. How do they do that?
I don't, you know what? I don't have an answer to that. I don't think they're going to make you.
I'll call you on Thanksgiving Day.
Call you on Thanksgiving. Call me on Christmas Day.
Oh, yeah, Christmas Day.
Yeah, so, but I think the second HOA question I got on Friday, and it was funny. I think you started this with this HOA crap that you've been talking about. I had a second HOA question about, if they were feeling that the homeowners association at Lake Monticello wasn't doing their job.
Okay.
How do they pursue that? In other words, did they violate some law? Did they violate some policies and procedures? So I pointed them to what they call the ombudsman at DPOR, and but there's a process. You have to go through a process. You have to formally file a complaint.
Isn't that such a tricky word?
I'm surprised I got that.
I think you said it. You did it. We were pretty close. He was pretty close, right, Judah?
Yeah. Ombudsman.
Yeah.
Ombudsman.
The tricky question is, can you spell that word?
So anyway, I had somebody call me.
How's that cup of coffee?
I had somebody call me on Friday.
I can't spell it either. Judah could probably spell it.
Yeah, ombudsman.
There's no first S.
Yeah, whatever.
No, we can't hear him.
He said there's no first S.
Yeah, there's no first S.
You keep it up. I'm going to make you have a microphone
and
there.
a camera.
And
He's
a
the
camera.
casting director.
You keep that up.
Let me throw this statistic to you. This is a national stat, okay? Signed contracts on existing homes, so-called pending sales, jumped 7.5% from September, according to the National Association of Realtors. A 7.5% jump from September.
So try that again.
Signed contracts on existing homes, pending sales, jumped 7.5% from September. This is for October.
All you got to do is look at my spreadsheet, and it kind of shows you pretty clearly that.
Another National Association statistic. Are you ready?
Yep.
The average rate on a 30-year fixed mortgage was just below 3% in mid-September, but it climbed to 3.22% at the end of October.
Yep. So I'm just trying to take a look at what it was in 81. 16% in 81 mortgage rate.
That is astronomical.
average across the country.
Devastating.
16%. And that was the other, not only was it at 16%, but you needed to bring 20% down, right? So not only are you, and somebody who's real smarter
Credit card rates, and you need the huge down payment.
That's exactly right. But it's interesting, and this is a topic I wanted to talk about tomorrow with it, because I took Yvonne, I had to drive Yvonne back up on Friday to fly out of Dulles to go.
Is she buying?
No, but we had the conversation about that.
Okay.
So Yvonne, everybody is our youngest daughter, 27. Recently married.
Former Division I swimmer.
Former Division. Keep
You
it
like
going.
to emphasize that. Very beautiful lady.
Smart.
Married a doctor.
Smart.
Very smart.
Smart.
Runner.
Actually, Yona and we were
turkey trot.
We were talking about you. They ran it on Thursday morning.
Turkey trot.
Well, I was cooking in the kitchen and peeling potatoes. It's okay.
And Yona, also very beautiful, intelligent, smart lady, is training for another race with Coach Mark.
Yeah, so she's starting her 10-miler, and it's really interesting, right?
Oh, what's interesting?
For those who watch the show know that I'm a recovering marathon runner.
Yes.
And I would, like, depending on the time of the year, every weekend I was gone running either a half or a full marathon. And it's really cool.
Every weekend?
Oh, yeah. I would run 2 fulls a year and anywhere between 6 and 12 halves. So if during running season, right? So the spring and the fall is typically when that would happen. But, yeah, it was pretty much every weekend in the running season that I would run a race.
What were you thinking?
I just loved it. I still love it. I just can't do it anymore. My body my osteoporosis went from my back into my hips into my knees.
So you were training every day?
I ran 6 to 8 miles every day.
Do you attribute some of this to that?
Some of what?
Some of what you're feeling right now to that? Running 6 to 8 miles every day?
Okay, finish the rest of that question.
You
lost me.
Running 6 to 8 miles a day and 2 marathons a year and 6 to 12 halves a year, that's physically demanding.
Well, according to my doctor, it's my osteoporosis, but I prefer not to talk about this. Yeah, no, I moved. It moved from my back into my hips, so I was getting stress fractures in my hips and my legs and stuff like that on that end of it. But I'm on a bike now, which is great. And you know what? I probably should have done this a long time
ago. Bike is so great, especially your setup. He's got it set up in the basement on a stationary bike.
Actually, on the second story of my balcony, yeah.
Second story, he's got a little virtual setup. So you can ride anywhere in the world.
I was in Oregon today.
Where are you going to ride tomorrow?
Don't know. Probably someplace in Europe.
Okay.
I don't know. Pick one. Tell me where I want to ride.
There you go.
I had somebody actually, because I was posting them. I had somebody actually thought I was.
Yeah, you were there.
I was there, so I now don't post them anymore because I just don't want to freak people.
How is this man traveling everywhere and selling homes?
Yeah. That's what Yona. I'm sorry. That's horrible. It's horrible to say that. Yeah. So I'm on the bike an hour a day, and I'm actually feeling pretty good about it. So age of repeat buyers, difference between 81 and 21. This is interesting. So the repeat buyer in 1981 was 36, which is about where the first-time home buyer is right now. The first-time home buyer right now is at 33.
So in 1981,
the move-up
buyer was 36 years old.
Do you know what it is now?
The move-up buyer?
Move-up buyer is right now?
I mean, good
you're
God,
looking
I
at
would
it
say
across. You're
late
looking
40.
You're looking
Really?
at it across the table.
The move-up buyer is a boomer?
56 years old.
Man, a direct attribution to home prices being through the roof.
Well, no.
No?
So, yes and no.
Okay.
But that's not where I was going. I should be a politician.
Yes and no.
Maybe yes, maybe no yes. I had a very dear Pakistani friend of mine that used to say that. Maybe yes, maybe no yes. Loved him to death. Unfortunately, anyway. So take a look at this. The average age of a first-time home buyer is 33. The average age of the move-up buyer, which is now Keith and Yona, is 56. We're a little older than that. Just a little bit, well, maybe more than a little bit. Maybe a half a decade, close to half a decade older than that. But guess what both of us want?
First floor master?
Same thing. We want the same things. We want to be close to the coffee shop. We want to be close to the brewery. We want to be close in our age to the doctors and to the hospital, right? We want to be close to an airport. We want to be close to train stations, right? Because we're now visiting grandkids, right? This is a conversation Yona and I have on a daily basis, right? How are we going to go see the grandkids? How are we going to go see the other kids, right? And wherever it is, we need to be close to something that gets us there. Well, the first-time buyer, you know, the 33, 34, 32, which is, you know, a few years older than it was in 80, 81, wants the same stuff, right? Now, COVID's kind of twisted this a little bit, right? Because now we can go a little further out and get that. But there's a stat in here that's not showing up on this, is what the impact of broadband has done on the utilities. But something that you will get a kick out of.
What's that?
Since you're in the marketing business, I think you'll get this answer. 1981, how many buyers were using the internet?
I would say none.
0.
Yeah.
Good answer. Good answer. What it is today?
I would say it's over 90%.
95%.
Yeah. And I'm shocked that it's 95%. I'm shocked that there's 5% of buyers that are not using the internet to research the most important purchase of their life. Are you not shocked by that?
No, but you know what?
You're not shocked by that?
Yeah, you know, 5% is not a big number. I mean, it's a big number.
5% is substantial.
Yeah, but you ever actually think 100% of the people? Some people are going to use some traditional, and there's more than likely, when you dig into the data.
What are the traditional research methods for purchasing a home?
Newspaper, which in 81
Oh, yeah,
in
ubiquitous,
81 was
ubiquitous.
22%.
Yeah.
Today it's only 7%. So there's 7%.
7% of people are using the newspaper to purchase a home.
So I'm not too smart, but that's pretty close to 5%.
That's terrifying.
So 7% is using newspaper. 90.
When's the last time you picked up a print newspaper?
I don't know. I get my daily progress at 4:30 every morning on my phone.
I get on my phone.
And I read it every day. I read my Wall Street Journal every morning
Yeah.
on my phone. I read everything on my phone. My father's calling me, by the way.
He knows you're working right now. Pop.
Is that what this is?
Yes, Pop, he's working right now, Pop. I mean, aren't you shocked that people are still reading print?
We're exchanging turkey soup.
Who?
This is
You
my
and
father.
Pop?
Yeah, this is a thing we do every.
What's turkey soup?
You don't know what turkey soup? You take the carcass of the soup and the carcass of the turkey and the leftover stuff, and you make turkey soup, right? Right? Judah's eyes just bugged out.
You take the carcass of the turkey and do
Yeah.
what?
You put it in like a pressure
Yeah.
cooker. And
Oh, well, you do old school and you do it in a pot and you make turkey soup out of it.
Well, what fluid are you putting in there? Broth?
Yeah, you make your own broth. You use the bones and the leftover legs. So we save all the legs and all the carcasses, and you actually make a turkey bone broth is what you actually do. And then if you have a little bit of meat left over, usually the brown meat and the meat. You've never made turkey soup?
I've never made turkey soup.
Oh, that's unbelievable. And we have a competition between our turkey soup and Pop's turkey soup.
And who wins?
We'll say him. Because I just don't want to, but we do win.
Pop comes to your house for Thanksgiving.
He does, yeah.
So how's he making turkey soup?
We split up the carcasses.
Oh, you and Pop do?
Yeah, we split up the carcasses.
No one else takes part of the carcass?
Nobody else wants to go through the work to make the soup.
That's
But
what
they'll
I'm
eat it.
saying.
They'll eat it.
Eat it.
Yeah, you put a little, the little minestrone noodles that you have in pasta fazool,
Oh, yes.
right? So you put, that's what you put, you add that at the end.
I will say this, that the people that host, you and Yona host, that is serious effort.
Oh yeah, it's a lot of work.
It's a lot of work.
I was telling you off air. We were out of practice. I think maybe age might have something to do with it too. But we haven't done this in 2 years. We have not had our traditional 30-something. That's exactly right. We haven't done this in 2 years, and we were a little out of practice. And normally we do 2 or 3. Our normal Sunday meal in my family is 15, 20, depending on
That's a lot of
significant
people.
others. Yeah. We all hold hands, we all pray, and then you better watch out. If you and your family ever come, that's it. We'll hold hands, we'll tell everybody we love each other, then you're on your own, buddy. And Trey's on his own too, by the way.
I think Trey can manage.
I think Trey.
It's me that I'm worried about.
Why?
I'm not worried.
We'll lick you up a little bit. It'll be fine.
I'm not worried about it at all. So how do you think the Christmas season is going to impact sales this year? Do you think we have a chance to get a push?
Well, if you look at last week, you would say no. I mean, push as in an increase in inventory.
Yeah. How was it last year?
I don't know that, but that's a great thing for year over year.
Yeah.
I will do that for tomorrow. Year over year, let's say a Thanksgiving to Christmas.
Because we're about to have 2 big employers open offices in this market.
But
and
look,
those openings happen in the next 30 to 45 days.
what we really should do is we really should look at 2019. Because 2020 was a bit of an anomaly.
Yeah.
Right? So we'll look at 2019, 2020, and 2021.
And compare the 3.
We'll compare the 3. Got it. Yes, sir.
3, I mean, with new employers coming
He's
to the
making
market.
me work here, you know
Oh,
that.
I mean, it's good
I thought
for
I
you.
just needed to show up and
It's
talk.
good. You're supposed to.
Oh, okay, got it.
You do a good job of that.
What, showing up and talking or
Yeah.
doing the work?
Both.
There you
Showing
go.
up and talking.
I don't know. I do the work.
You do a good job. You do. You know I know it. You know I think you do a good job.
I was looking for great job, but that's
I
okay.
think you do a phenomenal
A
job.
phenomenal. That's even better.
You're a tremendous job.
What do you think, Judah? Was
Absolutely
phenomenal
tremendous.
a good word? Yeah.
Yeah,
There you go.
phenomenal's a good word. You're just like phenomenal, Keith. He
So
just rolled his eyes over there at us. We really need to get him involved in the show.
I tried to do it, but
I know.
tomorrow.
I've
Camera
been
and
trying
stuff.
for years.
Remember we've been talking about single females share of buyers
Yeah.
increasing. Was roughly 20% of 2021. Back in 81, it was around 10%. So it's pretty much doubled in 40 years. 10% in 40 years extrapolated is not a big number, but that's a huge thing. And share of married couples was 73 in 81 and 60% now on that end of it. Share of single males it's interesting. Single males are flat in 40 years. 10% in 81, 9%.
Single females are up big time.
Single females are up, and they are the biggest buyer profile, one of the biggest buyer profiles.
The biggest buyer profiles are here in no particular order: single females, Hispanics.
I think that's a bigger buyer profile.
The Hispanic buyer profile is bigger than
Absolutely,
the single female.
absolutely,
Absolutely.
absolutely.
And the third biggest profile. What's the third biggest profile?
Not Keith and Yona, because we're not.
You still don't want to move. You have nowhere to go. You're not moving.
I am not moving. I just put a new roof in the
Yeah.
HVAC system. We're not moving.
I
hope
get that
Is
impression.
Yona watching?
She is.
Damn.
I get that impression that you're not moving. We know that.
Yeah, well, we'll see. So the millennials. So it depends.
The millennial is starting to age.
Well, they're hitting that age.
That's what I'm saying.
They're hitting that age at 33, right? They're hitting that. That's kind of the older millennial, the 33 to 34, right? On that end.
Oh, she says she is moving.
Yeah, without me.
Right? She says, I am moving. ...
Okay,
And she
Yona.
says the turkey soup is delicious.
Yeah, the turkey. Actually, all truth be known, Yona makes the turkey soup. I don't make the turkey soup. I cook all the ingredients before that.
You cook the turkey.
But since she's watching,
You choose your words carefully.
I am choosing my words carefully on that end of it.
Much like my family, with your family, the foundation is the beautiful 7/8.
Oh, there's no doubt about that. Finance to home, right? I'm going back to 2021. 93% of folks financed a home in 81, 87% in 2021, which is, if I do some quick math, isn't that 13% balance, right? It's 13% bought it in cash. So that's an important thing to talk about, right? Everybody's like cash, 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 cash. Well, so far, year to date, nationwide, I don't want to say only, but 13% of them, if I did the math right.
I would think that number would be higher, but to your point, with rates being so low and the return on investment in the stock market being anywhere from 7% plus, why would you buy the home in cash? Now, the reason you would increase your cash position is a competitive multiple offer scenario where maybe you're increasing the cash position, but that doesn't necessarily mean you do all the deal in cash.
So it's interesting. It's even more cost at this mortgage rates. It's even more cost effective to go out. Let's assume you're blessed and you have the cash available, right? You've sold your home somewhere. It's more cost effective to get a loan, to do it in cash on that end of it, own it, and turn around and refinance it a little bit later. You pay double the closing costs, and as a buyer on a cash deal, it's not really that much on that end of it. Where on a loan side, it is. Generally, when we have cash buyers, we do suggest that they do an appraisal, get an appraisal, because you're going to need one if you're going to refi it anyway, so you understand where you're standing with that end of it. It also works out well if you write the deal right, that it's contingent on an appraisal, right? You don't want to overpay for a property, and you go ahead and do that. And then
how many of the cash buyers are in fact getting appraisals?
Quite a few of ours will do it, but I will tell you, our cash. That's why this 13% I think is important. I can't remember the last time I did a cash buyer. It's been a while. It's been months and months since we did a cash buyer. A lot of people at my age group are bringing a substantial amount of cash to the table.
Yeah, they're not
right?
just doing all cash for the deal.
Right. So that's a number that's not baked in there, right? Because that's part of that. That's part of that 87% of financing, right? Because so what they'll do is they'll bring 30%, 40%, 50% to the table on cash. So they've sold something somewhere, they bring some cash in there, even if they're overpaying for it a little bit.
Ooh, Kelsey Hickman wants to get you in trouble here.
Yes, I'll move.
How did you know that was the topic?
Because I don't know. It's just that
Kelsey Hickman says, where would they move if they choose to move? Where are they looking? You started this. You opened this Pandora's box.
How old are you?
I'm just saying, you started this. That is a fair question for her. Is where would you
By whose
move
definition of fair?
to? Okay, well, I mean,
Yes.
Where would you would want to be around downtown Charlottesville, right? If you did it. I mean,
So-
your office is downtown.
Kelsey, thank you for getting me into trouble.
Your office
I
is
appreciate that.
downtown.
Kelsey knew that I can't control this mouth of mine, and I will say
You
that.
brought it up.
So there is a practical way I'm looking at it.
Okay.
So I don't think we physically are going to move somewhere. And this sounds, well, I'm about ready to sounds privileged, and that I don't mean it to come out this way
Okay.
on that end of it. But what we're really trying to do is wait to see where our second daughter and son-in-law land
Okay.
after they finish their thing. And we're blessed enough to maybe say, okay, if there's someplace somewhere, can we get a second home or something like that that's a little closer to them and all that stuff. That's the official answer.
Okay, so are your okay? I don't want to go down this road. If we don't have to.
You're going to go down this
Are
rabbit hole?
is your youngest and her husband thinking about coming back East Coast? Because is he in his residency?
He's in his residency,
Okay.
right? And it's nobody knows, right? He has to get through his residency, and then what's the year after residency? What's that called?
Fellowship?
Fellowship, thank
Okay.
you. We don't know if that's happening or not happening, but there's another 1 or 2 years left in that end of it, and then we will figure out where they land. So a lot of that is job offers and
Yeah.
so forth and so on. But back to the conversation.
To be determined.
I'm going to pivot here.
Okay, good pivot.
Good pivot.
You'd be a hell of a politician. Maybe yes, maybe no yes.
Well, I've been doing this for 3 decades.
I know you have, and you're good at it.
To pivot that end of it. Kelsey, thank you for the question.
That's a fair question.
It's a fair question.
Because everybody's wondering that.
Yeah. So look, the reality of it is, closer to Charlottesville, walking distance to whatever. We now just have a new dog, so that's a new impact in that kind of
I mean,
setup.
it would be really sweet to be close to your work, and then you could ride your bike there.
I got to tell you, from our house.
Right, I know what you're going to say. Was it 19 minutes? Is that what you're going to say?
Actually, a little less than that today, but let's say 20 minutes.
Okay. So
20 minutes.
So 40 minutes
I
a
pull
day
out
commute.
Okay.
40 minutes round trip.
Yes.
So we're talking 4 hours a week.
But what do we do during that 20 minutes?
Well, I know you're working. You can take calls.
No,
You can listen to the Real Talk podcast.
I listen to the real. No, I don't. You know, it's funny. My Xavier asked me, did I listen and rewatch the shows?
This is his nephew.
My 10-year-old nephew, and I don't.
Yeah. Most don't. Most broadcasters do not.
You taught me that.
Yeah, most broadcasters do not listen to
in the beginning
their previous shows.
In the beginning, I started doing that.
And then what happened? You became your worst critic.
Oh my God!
Yeah.
I sound stupid.
Yeah, you don't. Most
my
broadcasters
accent is
don't do it.
horrible.
Yeah.
You know, I just was like, you had to. You know, in the beginning, it was like, I don't want to do this anymore.
Yeah.
I sound stupid. And
Yeah.
you said, no, give it time. And look, I do listen.
And look how good you are.
Yeah, well, I don't know about that.
Because when you do, then you start thinking about everything you're listening and hearing, and then that starts impacting what you're doing in real time. And now you just shoot off the hip, and you're very likable, and you're very easygoing, and you're, frankly, what does your mom say to you? Keith, you my boy?
That was my grandmother.
Okay, your grandmother. What was the saying?
Get your stories right.
Okay,
That was
sorry.
my grandmother who said, Keithy, me boy, when they vaccinated you, they used a phonograph needle instead of a hypodermic needle.
Yeah.
Shut the bleep up.
Yeah, so you're made for this.
Actually, she used the word Victrola needle, but I didn't want to blow people's brains. What the hell's a Victrola?
I don't even know what that is.
A
But
Victrola,
I can read between, I can take context clues and understand it.
a Victrola was a predecessor to a phonograph. Right? There you go. Look at that. No microphone.
Dude, he's a book.
Yeah.
He's
So,
an encyclopedia.
but interesting. So something for a topic for tomorrow to tackle. What time is it?
Okay,
What Yvonne was telling me on the way back, because two things. She melted my heart. Not that my oldest daughter doesn't do this, but she was like, Daddy, I'm thinking I'm going to get a real estate license, and maybe we can work together.
Wow.
And my heart melted. I never, ever, ever, ever.
She's a teacher.
I ever imparted on any of our children that they should go in the line of work that Yona and I are in.
Well, to do that, and I'm just curious, wouldn't she have to live in Virginia?
No, not necessarily.
Oh, you would just do the referral.
We can do the referral. No, that's not true. We can do the referral out. Depends on where they land. We can go through the licensing in that state.
Oh, and open up another office.
And open up another office
Gotcha.
there. I mean, there's all kinds of. So this whole where we're going to live thing is a little bit more complicated.
I would love
Then-
Yona. I would love if they moved to this area. I'm sure Yona would too.
No, Yona wouldn't like it.
Why?
We would never leave each other.
Yona would
We'd
love
be
it.
together all the time.
What do you mean?
I'd be here all the time.
She would love it.
Yeah. It's.
And then you would only have the commute to Connecticut.
So meaning Yvonne, move here?
Yeah, your youngest.
Okay. I'm sorry. I heard Yona. I apologize.
No, Yona would
My
love
hearing
it if
aids
your
in.
youngest moved here.
I don't think that's going to happen.
Okay, well, I mean, UVA is a hell of a...
I don't think that's going to happen.
Okay.
If I was a betting man, it's probably going to be somewhere in the Northeast.
We're now, it's so funny how, like, the life cycle of things changing. We're now at the point of trying to persuade my parents to move here.
Yeah.
So
And
my brother's in California. He's not going to be, he works for, big company. He's not going to move from California.
Southern or Northern?
He's in LA, Los
Got it.
Angeles. He's not going to move from there.
Yeah.
We would love if they moved here from outside the Asheville area. And then that would help when my brother comes visit. They just come to one spot.
Yeah.
They could stay at our house.
Yeah.
And, it's the life cycle. It's funny how it evolves.
It's interesting, and another number which isn't on here, 24% of the sales last year are multi-generational homes. What is old is becoming new again. We've been saying this over and over again on that end of it. The same thing with multiple residential units on a lot, right? It's the single-family detached home kind of losing its luster. Excuse me, for lack of a better term. But it's something that it's become a small world. Like 1981, to fly overseas was a huge thing.
Yeah. Well, I mean, still.
No, but it was a really huge thing back in those days, right? And for me, from flying behind the Iron Curtain was even a huge. That's such a thing.
We'll take it.
A
Huge
huge,
works.
a huge thing.
Huge works.
It was huge.
Huge.
Huge. Can't use those words.
No, you can't.
Cannot use those words. Yeah. So it's just this was looking at this chart. It's just as one who was around in that time, just to think about where we have come in 40 years, just the technology. Right, and we didn't have these things in our. We wouldn't be doing this.
No.
We wouldn't be holding an iPhone.
Well, and
right?
you're evidently your youngest is listening right now.
Is she really?
Yeah.
She's on listening.
Yeah.
Good.
I just got the tip from your beautiful 7/8 that she is.
Yeah. Well, my oldest is in working. She's on a shoot right now, so she wouldn't be watching. She could be listening.
Yeah. Your
She
youngest
could-
is listening.
Yeah. Well, that's because it's 3 hours behind. She's trying to get ready to go to work.
school.
Go to school. Go teach some stuff. But speaking of her, and this is a topic maybe we'll talk about tomorrow. I'll try to reach out to Scott Morris and get some data for tomorrow's show. But we were having this conversation. She brought up, I wish I could buy. And one of the big impediments for them buying is what? What's the biggest impediment for the millennial or the late 20-something, the early 30-something is to buy at this point? What's the biggest?
I would say their biggest impediment, especially of what you've offered this show, is not knowing where they're going to be in a few years.
Well, that's
I
that.
wouldn't suggest buying if they don't know what they're going to be.
No. When they first moved there a couple years ago, I was saying you should buy, but they can't. And why can't they?
Well, I mean, in their particular circumstance,
no.
is your son-in-law's name Houston?
Mm-hmm.
He's a doctor. The doctor loans are amazingly opportunistic.
You're talking about the doctor loans to buy.
Yeah.
But think of what the number one impediment,
What is it?
student loan debt.
Okay, but
That's substantial.
I bet it's substantial. But the doctor loans offer opportunities that most individuals that are not doctors do not have.
That is absolutely right.
The doctor loans are very opportunistic.
That's absolutely right. We had this conversation when they first moved there. When they first moved there, they might have been able to buy something for believe it or not, for $600,000 or $800,000.
I mean, think about that.
Yeah, but now it's over $1 million.
Sure.
Right, to go into it. So they would have appreciated, they would have done fine, they would have sold it would have made a little bit of a nest egg before they moved someplace else. But they couldn't do that because their debt to income ratio is so out of whack. Because most people don't know this, on the residency, I think they, by law, federal regulatory thing, I'm not exactly sure how this works, but they only make like $52,000, something like that, and abuse the hell out of them.
Well, yeah, it's a.
Just think about it.
You're paying your dues. It's a pledgeship.
Yeah, I've learned a lot since my son-in-law has been going through this, and to hear
What kind of medicine?
He's an anesthesiologist.
Okay. Anesthesiologists are a great path of professional.
You know
it's
what?
A great path to be on if you're a
You
doctor.
know what? If Yvonne is listening,
She is. I have a buddy who's an anesthesiologist, essentially my age. The anesthesiologists rake it in.
yeah, they do well.
Yeah.
They do. They paid their dues, though.
As they do.
They
do
literally
pay
have
their
paid their
dues.
dues and literally
Yeah,
are paying
pay their dues.
Pay their dues.
Physically
Hundreds and hundreds of
and
thousands.
financially.
Hundreds of thousands of
Yeah,
dollars.
and physically.
And physically. Well,
Yeah.
that's what I was trying to get at. I think, what do I know?
Anesthesiologists
I'm just a
critically
guy,
important doctor.
I'm just the guy in the real estate space on a show. That's
Yeah.
all I am.
You stayed at a Holiday Inn Express.
I stayed at
last
Holiday
night.
Express last night. But, to hear him do 80, 90, 100 plus hours a week, just think about that. Just think about a guy or a gal that's pumping drugs into you.
Yeah.
With that kind of hours
Yeah.
behind that person. That's a scary freaking thought. That is pretty scary. They bring you about this close to
Have you
death.
thought about this? And granted, it's different kinds of work. If you factor in the phone calls and the text messages and the emails, well, you don't do email. The phone call, you do some email. I'm just joking. The phone calls.
No, you weren't.
The phone
No, you
calls.
weren't. So guys, that's a gig towards me because
This is it.
I do not.
You do some email. You do a good prep email for the show. We appreciate that one.
I get 600 emails a day
Yeah.
or more. I literally do.
Well, you know, Tim, is it Tim?
And most of it is junk stuff.
Yeah, I know. Email, is it Tim Ferriss, the 4-hour work week?
Yes.
Let's see. Okay.
Yes.
He says, Tim Ferriss, 4-hour work week, that you should cut email out altogether.
Well, that's what I do. I don't call it out to get all together. My thing, you know.
It should be a text message or a short conversation, and cut email out altogether.
Well, the whole key is the subject line.
Yeah.
Right. So if it's a contract, if it's business related, but it literally takes me an hour to an hour and a half a day just to delete all the
That's
crap,
what I'm saying.
crap
I know.
emails. And what happens is sometimes you actually delete an email. So I usually tell folks, you know, from a business end of it, I just sent you an email, please read it, and then I'll look for it. But sometimes, you know, just to go through the thing, you almost have to hire somebody just to read your emails. And
Well, and the wonderful thing about joining Yes Realty Partners is the fabulous Emily Fong.
Good.
That's a great value proposition if
you
you'd
know,
like to join
I
Yes
got to
Realty
tell
Partners.
you, we're recovering.
Emily's amazing.
Emily is excellent.
Yeah.
I'm having a little bit withdrawals because Emily was out visiting family for a week, and I was left. To
We love you, Emily.
I was left to my own
Devices.
devices.
Which is terrifying.
Not really. I'm not that bad. Am I that bad? I don't know.
No! You're fantastic,
I'm
dude.
fantastic.
You know you are.
All righty. Well, blah, 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 blah.
You're fantastic.
30-year mortgage in 81 was exact number was 16.63%.
16.63% on a 30-year in 81.
Minimum wage was $3.35.
Gosh.
Annual income, $21,050.
That's
New
nuts.
car cost. Listen to this. New car cost $5,743. But who the hell would buy something from 1981? It didn't run all that good.
The 1981 cars weren't good?
No, we were horrible. That was in the middle of the 81s. That's when Chrysler was going bankrupt, and there's some stuff in here.
What car was your dream car in 81? What, like a Mustang?
I had a 1969 Mustang. 1969 Camaro SS.
There you go. Soft top?
Hardtop.
Hard top?
4 on the floor.
4 on the floor. I bet you did.
323.
What's the fastest you got that up to?
I don't know. I don't remember. But I didn't have it at the time because I sold like an idiot. I sold it before I went overseas, which was the dumbest thing I ever did.
Why? Because you're saying if you still had it today?
Oh my God! Can you imagine if you had that right now?
How much is that worth today?
Oh, I don't know. Somebody would have to look at it.
6 figures?
I could be. It was in pristine condition. 4 on the floor.
Who'd you sell that to?
Posi traction. You know what? Some other Marine. I can't remember. I needed the cash and took the cash out and then sold it. But I love that car. The other car that I fell in love with was a Buick Buick 1966 Buick Skylark SS.
Yeah.
Had the little wings in the back
Oh, yeah.
and the windows went down on the back of it. That one had a 3 on the column, which nobody's ever seen.
I haven't seen a 3 in the column.
Yeah, it
I know
was-
the 4 on the floor.
It was a straight 6. It was kind of quote unquote a commuter car. It was a straight 6. It had a 3-speed on the column.
A lot of people don't also realize this about your beautiful wife, is she is essentially a Formula 1 driver.
No, Yona is.
She's a hell of a driver.
She's a hell
If
of
you
a.
need a getaway driver, you contact Yona Smith.
She actually is licensed to rally race in Europe.
Yeah,
Learned-
that is amazing.
Learned that in Finland from the international championship. But anyway, I got all kinds of neat stuff on 1981. I'm trying to thumb through this so that some sports stuff that you would know.
Oh,
Who was the NBA championships in 81?
I don't know who the NBA champion.
Boston
You know
Cel-
how old I was in 1981?
I don't know.
I was,
What do you think?
I was
Were
in
you
my
even?
parents' belly. My mom's.
That would be. It's
In my
excellent.
mom's belly.
Okay. Do we have to have this
No,
conversation?
it's
It's not a
Mary's
belly. It's in a uterus.
Okay, it was in my mom's uterus. Thank you for holding me accountable there. I have no idea in 1981. My mom's uterus.
What year were you born?
81.
Were you really?
Yeah.
No. Wow. 81. So I didn't realize that.
Yeah.
You're turning the big 4-0.
I am. come.
Oh, when's that?
80. It happened.
Oh, did I? Oh boy, I'm such a lousy friend.
No.
When
you're
did that
a great-
happen?
You're August. You're a great friend.
Did I wish you happy birthday?
No.
Damn.
I'm not a birthday guy though.
Me too. Drives Yona nuts.
That you are a birthday guy?
I am not.
I'm not a big birthday guy.
I'm not a big
Yeah, it
birthday
drives
guy.
my wife nuts.
It drives Yona absolutely
Somewhere
nuts.
she's watching right now.
She
and
has-
agreeing and shaking her
Yeah,
head.
your wife's probably similar to my wife. Like with Trey, is it like a 3 or 4, like a week affair?
Dude,
Yeah.
Christmas is like a month and change here.
We're starting
My
that.
son's birthday is weeks.
Yeah, so exactly right. We're our grandson's third birthday, December 9th. I think I got that right.
Are we the wrong people there in this circumstances?
Yes.
Is that why it is?
The answer is yes,
Yeah.
Mr. Miller. Look, yeah.
Why are you not a birthday person?
It's an overall. Oh, I'm going to get my. You're trying to get me.
No, probably the same reason I'm not a birthday person.
I do not. Yona's going to hate this. Yona's going to love this. I do not like being told I'm supposed to do something on a certain day.
Okay.
I do not like that. So if it's Yona's birthday or Valentine's Day, I typically we celebrate or whatever. But I will bring, like the other day, I brought a dozen roses home just because I was thinking of her. I was out. I bought her a dozen roses. I brought her, I love you, honey. Thank you for all you do. I do that all the time.
Okay.
I don't do.
Wait, so you're saying you don't make Valentine's Day or Yona's birthday special?
No, yes. No.
Maybe maybe yes.
Maybe yes.
Maybe no yes.
Maybe no yes, but maybe no yes. I much
it's
rather.
Very similar, you and I.
I much
Very
rather.
similar.
I much rather do that. Do you buy your wife jewelry?
Maybe yes.
Maybe no yes. Very good. I bought my wife a wedding band, and I think I bought her a ring with all the kids' stone on it a few years ago. But and people may think less of me, but I would rather spend that money on a trip.
Yeah.
To build a memory, to go ahead and do that. I don't buy a lot of jewelry.
Evidently, we should be making.
But I think I'm wrong.
Evidently, we should be making more of milestone events like birthdays and anniversaries and special days.
So
a
did we
year.
lose a bunch of sponsors?
No, every day. Evidently, we should, and I'm learning that slowly over time.
Well,
I'm learning that slowly over time.
I'll tell you what, I do celebrate a lot.
December 9th is correct.
December 9th. I do celebrate our anniversary, though.
As you should.
Did you know Yona married me 3 times? Did I ever tell you that?
No.
Married me.
Why 3 times?
Well, we renewed our vows twice.
Okay.
So Yona had, my wife had an opportunity
3
to say
times
no.
and 2 other.
I don't want
She never did.
She never did.
Yeah.
So, but yeah, we did it.
I'm glad she did.
Our 10th year wedding anniversary and our 25th original one.
I look up to you guys.
Thank you. A 10th year wedding anniversary and our 25th.
Hello, Harry. Harry, I really.
Hey, Harry Tyson.
I really liked you, Harry, in that.
The picture.
The picture. That picture was epic. That picture was so good.
5 turkeys. No, Turkey 5. That's the name of the
Judah,
band.
can you get the picture from Keith's? I'm putting you on the spot here, and I apologize for doing this to you, Judah. It's 3 or 4 posts down on Keith's personal Facebook page. He's holding a turkey. The well-manicured Harry Tyson is in there, and the 2 brother-in-laws, James and who's the other?
Jeff.
James? And Jeff are also in there. This photo is awesome. This is your backyard?
This is my backyard.
I love the fence that you guys built for Forrest.
That we built it for Forrest, excuse me.
Can Forrest still figure out how to get out of the fence, or did you fix that?
We fixed that.
Okay. Has he tried?
No.
Are you sure? Are you sure that you just didn't leave the fence open when Forrest?
Yeah, no.
You left the fence open. I know you did.
I kind of did, and then I kind of didn't.
Maybe yes.
Maybe no. Yes. Maybe yes. Maybe no. Is that going to be the new? Is that going to be the new?
It's really good.
Yeah,
I love it.
You never heard that before?
No, I've never heard that
Maybe yes.
before.
Maybe no. Yes.
Yeah, that one's really good.
Yeah,
I'm gonna steal that.
Yeah, totally. Maybe yes. Maybe no.
It's a
yes.
good-looking fence.
Yeah. So.
Fences aren't cheap.
So I think that should be the name of a show that we're going to put together.
Dude.
Yes, maybe no, yes.
That could be the show.
Go be the show. Well, we will. I was thinking stump the chumps, but I like yes, maybe no.
Maybe no. Maybe the stump
Maybe-
the chumps is not bad.
Well, but that's pure plagiarism, though.
What is there a stump the chumps?
Oh yeah, that's a car talk thing.
Stump the
Radio, NPR.
radio.
Two
You
guys.
and the radio.
Oh, I love it. I listen to NPR all the time.
Oh, it's
Thank
on
you.
screen. Look
Thank
at the
you.
screen,
Thank you.
guys.
Thank you.
Look at the screen.
But yeah, so it's.
Didn't you get a new appreciation for the fence builders? That is no easy task.
Yes, you know why I know that. The
You used to build
that-
fence?
The fence that replaced it, Yona and I built.
You guys did it yourself?
We did it ourselves, yeah.
Wow.
Yeah, but that was 20 years ago.
It's no easy task building a fence.
It was no easy task, but in those days, the fun part was I had all this equipment. I had skid steers, track
Okay, so,
hose.
well, it's different if you have the equipment.
Yeah, and you had to drill the holes
Yeah.
and all that kind of great stuff.
I'm talking about like the person that's building the fence when they don't have the equipment.
Two guys.
Where you're having like doing the fence post.
Well,
what's that thing called?
It's called a post hole digger.
Yeah, is it a post?
Literally, that's what it's called.
That's what I'm talking about. That is brutal.
Yeah. But these guys had a two-person gas auger, and they went and did that and all that stuff. But yeah, they rocked. They did that in 2 days. Unbelievable.
That's a substantial fence for 2 days.
Like 400 feet.
That's what
like
I'm
that.
saying.
Yeah.
And dude, Forrest has got a hell of a backyard there.
It's about a half acre.
I like it.
Yeah.
Very nice.
That's the other reason. I love my little.
Oh, you're moving.
I know I am.
Yeah.
Yes, Mrs. Smith, we're moving.
You know.
The question is when. So if I can stall this.
Why are you so resistant to change?
I'm not resistant to change.
You don't
Is this a
like
therapy
change.
session? Are we
No,
having
no.
a therapy
Listen,
session?
I've known you. I've spent a lot of time with you
Yeah.
over the last few years.
It-
Have I not?
Yeah. Maybe yes, maybe no.
Yes. Changing the chairs on the set
Freaked me out.
from my spot. So we had to do this for wiring with our computer and our infrastructure. We have a hard line that can only reach to this chair, which was newly installed. And we had to.
You're telling me like I care.
That's your better side anyway.
But that's your opinion.
That's what, you don't think that's your better side?
Both are okay.
Both good sides, he said.
What are we doing here?
Did you just both say that both of them are good sides?
I never said that. That's the other thing you learn in politics. Never said that. You got a video? Oh, it's right. We do actually.
We do have a Oh, God.
So-
Market Monitor is so funny. So tomorrow you got some stats to bring in.
I got notes. I got
Yeah.
some homework to do. Thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you. All kidding aside, I love when we do this, just
Oh,
you
yeah.
and I.
It's
It's
so
a
fun.
lot of fun.
Yeah.
I just kind of wanted to round out the last 13 weeks of the Monday Market Monitor and take a look at some numbers and see where things were trending and all that kind of great stuff. And I'll do a little homework. But actually, tomorrow is the normal Batman and Robin, so we'll have to do that. We're going to get Judah to get
Mic'd up.
mic'd up and cameraed up,
Judah.
and we're going to get you. You
Judah.
okay with that, Judah?
Are you don't have to.
Yeah.
I've been trying to do this for a while. Mic'd up and videoed up, J-Dubs.
Okay. It's a pain, like trying to actively switch to my camera and then like.
Okay.
Yeah.
and switch-
Well, we do not want to freak out. We don't not freak out's the wrong choice of words. We
We
put
don't want to cause him discomfort.
we don't want to cause him discomfort. For those,
He likes his anonymity.
well, it's not even that. I mean,
Well, I think
I'm
it
sure.
is.
I'm
Isn't
sure.
it partially that?
No,
You don't want your anonymity? Okay.
it's the workload on him, right? We got the easy job.
Taking the mouse and going and moving to a different thing.
Well, that's easy for you to say, right?
I mean,
That because you do 15 things at once, right? Okay, yes. Jerry, I will say on air, and I tell anybody who listens to me, I cannot do what you do. My attention deficit syndrome, I have a hard time tracking these pieces of paper that I wrote down, that I read 5 times this morning.
and you postmarked.
And I put those ones, I got posties on it, and I
Yeah.
still screw it up. So
You're doing a good job.
I am sympathetic to Judah's plight of
Yeah.
having to move things around and
We're
do all this.
sympathetic to your plight.
But that doesn't mean we're
I'm
not going
working
to.
on my empathy, Judah.
But that doesn't mean you're still going to have to do it tomorrow.
Oh, Judah,
Judah, thanks for all you do, buddy.
So much time together, it's crazy.
The two of us, right?
Oh, the three of us spent a
Ton of time.
10 years almost, me and this dude right here.
237. Who's smart? 237 times an hour. We figure about an hour, just a show.
I'd say it's probably 90 minutes. And then that
An
doesn't
hour and a
include
half.
before and after.
That
So I'm
doesn't-
saying you're probably looking at 2 hours.
Yeah, I would say 3 hours. I would say we
Round trip.
Round trip. We spent about 3 hours.
237 times 3?
Is what?
237 times 3.
I bet you
711.
Harry Tyson had that number.
711. Oh, Harry definitely does. 237 times 3 is 711. Divided by a 40-hour work week, you're talking about a substantial amount of weeks there. Work weeks.
What's that number?
It's almost 18.
Yeah. 3 hours, so 3, 6, 9 hours a week. Out of a 40-hour week, work week, which nobody, you don't work a 40-hour week.
There's no such thing as the 40-hour work week anymore.
Yeah.
40-hour work, that's another thing that we should have looked at on your stats. The average work week.
Between 81.
81 and 2021.
Okay, cool.
Because I would say the average work week in 2021 is probably, what would you say, like 50? Judah, what do you think it is now? The average work week now?
I happen to think.
I think it's probably like 50 is the new 40.
I think you'll find that walking it back a little bit.
There's no way, dude.
I think you'll find that
that
out.
is bananas.
Somebody like Harry Tyson will be able to pull that number up pretty quickly.
The average work week has not dropped in length over the last 40 years. It's expanded in length.
Do you know what did I tell you what the minimum wage was back in 81?
Yeah, you said it was like 3 something.
335, yeah.
335.
A stamp was 18 cents.
Yeah. I mean, that's just an indication of inflation. And this is your perfect time to say, home purchase.
Home purchase.
Best hedge against inflation.
I'll let you do that for me.
I'm
trying to read.
I love the Batman and Robin shows. You see what this guy is all about and what Yes Realty Partners is all about. Just honesty and character and some chuckles along the way.
What you see is what you get.
What you see is what you get, and that's what I enjoy
Maybe
about
yes, maybe no yes.
yes. Oh, yes. That could be the new show.
I like it. Maybe
Okay.
yes, no, maybe yes, maybe no yes.
I think we got to run it by.
You know what? I don't know who's actually watching
I
and
think we got to
listening.
run it by Scott.
Yeah, whoever is listening and watching, I am always open for ideas, for topics, for shows. So please chime in.
You know what I was thinking about, and we'll get out of here on this note, is taking one of the maybe two of the cameras and creating a secondary set over here. And the secondary set would have like some activities to do or some challenges where parts of the show we can do like truth or dare, or if you get something wrong, you have to go to the dunk tank, like over there, or it was like some kind of like a bench press or something like that. Something where we can make this the action set, where he could transition the cameras.
That sounds like a penalty.
That's like a penalty box.
Oh.
Like that's a good idea.
Penalty
like
box.
that's the penalty box. And the penalty box was a fun action.
So how do you get out of the
activity.
penalty box?
Well, I don't know. We're brainstorming.
Is that what we're doing?
We're spitballing right now.
Maybe
We're
yes,
like,
maybe no.
This is the primary set, and that's the penalty box. And the penalty box, obviously,
You
can
remind
see
me
how
of
we
too
can
much
make
of myself. You come up with a great idea and let somebody else figure out the details.
you see how we can make it there.
Yeah, sure.
And all we'd have to do is take these two and put them there diagonally.
Okay,
they
we're
would
gonna
reach
have to flush this out a little bit.
Judah,
more.
that's actually a damn good idea. We take this camera and the studio camera and turn it onto the penalty box over here, and we turn the penalty
Am
box
I still the
into
executive producer here?
something. Just saying, we can use it for all the shows. We can use it for all the shows.
Well, we're one of the great things about doing 237 shows is we spend a lot of time. This is a lot of fun. I say this all the time. This makes me so much better at my job. It really does.
If you make a mistake, you're held accountable.
Well, it makes me better at my job because I have to spend we joked around about the 3 hours, but it doesn't include the hours that I've spent on Sunday preparing for the week. But it makes me a better real estate professional. It really does. So that I'm super thankful for on that end of it. But
I got stopped. Christmas tree, where we do our own Christmas trees.
oh, cool.
And we're
You go up and
changing-
cut them down?
Yeah, cut
cool.
them down.
Where do you go?
We're changing. We used to go to Foxfire Farm, which is in Buckingham County.
Yeah.
And we had this big tradition where we go cut the Christmas tree down.
Good for you,
Bring
man.
Trey, bring the wife, then have lunch at Tavern on the James.
Yeah, cool.
And then bring it to the house, put it up,
Yeah.
and then do the decorations.
Sure.
We're looking for a different farm because the tough part about the Christmas tree farms is if you have a Christmas tree farm and hundreds of people come every year to the Christmas tree,
They thin it out.
you run out of Christmas trees.
Yeah.
Eventually, you run out of Christmas trees.
I'm surprised that you don't go to like the mountains of North Carolina to visit your family,
Well,
and then that's what I would do.
okay, I appreciate that.
Thank
and
you.
Then thank
Well, you were telling me
I
what
know.
to do over
My
here.
wife is listening and saying, "That's what I wanted to do." Now you're getting me into trouble. That's like
Is that what you wanted to do?
I said, "Sweetheart, you want to do an 8-hour?"
Well, you were
drive
busting
home?
my hump about selling the house, so
know.
thank you.
Okay, well now it's reversed.
It's even.
Thank you.
It's
We're
even.
even,
We're-
Steven.
we're even.
Even Steven. I said to her, "You want to go 8 hours
Drive
on
for 8 hours.
8 hours on 81 with the Christmas tree on your roof, with the trail, with the trucks going by?
Sure. I think it's a great idea.
That is not a good idea." You realize you know that's not a good idea.
I think it's a freaking awesome idea.
This is where Yona's responding back, "Keith, you're getting him into trouble."
That's
but
exactly
before
right.
She was saying that I was getting you into trouble.
I thought we had a rule. The selling of the house was off topic.
I didn't bring it up. You brought it up. And then Kelsey responded to your statement.
Oh, did I really?
Yes, you brought it up.
Me and my big mouth.
I did not bring it up.
Me and my big
I don't even
mouth.
know where I was going with the Christmas tree thing. Well, where were we talking
We were
about?
going with Chris. I was asking you if you cut what you were saying. You're going to Christmas tree. Actually, cut the Christmas tree down.
yeah. And we were
The guy with ADD
yeah,
remembers
you figured
it.
it out. You remembered it. And we went, and now we're I guess interviewing Christmas tree areas. We're scouring
okay.
them out.
Got it.
Okay, because she wants to make this into like
Yeah,
every
cool.
year tradition.
So how tall of a tree do you usually get?
It's pretty tall. So we have the elevated.
I'm about to
ceiling.
say, you've got a
Cathedral
two-story.
ceilings.
Yeah.
So she wants to get like a 14-foot tree.
Oh, well, then, with all due respect, Mrs. Miller, I walk back my...
Yeah, a 14-foot tree on your Explorer on
No.
81
No.
with trucks driving by you.
But-
that's like a wind sail.
I've got a solution for you. You've got a hitch on the back of your...
No, I don't. I should have a hitch. You're
Good.
telling me to get a trailer?
I have one for
No.
you. I got a 16-foot trailer, dually wheels, get a hitch on it. It's got electric brakes on it. We'll set you up with electric brakes on it, and we
trying to
can
get
put
me
it...
really into
I
trouble.
am totally trying to get you into trouble.
I'm at one of the farms, the Christmas
It's got a
tree
dump
areas
lift
that we
on
were
it and
looking
everything,
at,
so
and
you-
they referenced this show. A
Really?
stranger came up
That's
to
where
us
we were going.
and referenced the show
Really? Wow.
and said, "I enjoy the show. It is hilarious."
Hilarious.
That was the statement. The show is hilarious.
I'm,
And they referenced this show specifically. This show specifically.
yeah, thank you. That is, we're having
Stranger.
fun. We're having fun.
I have a hat on and sunglasses. It basically incognito. Someone came up out of the blue.
Yeah.
You're the guy from the real estate show. That show is hilarious.
I had the same thing happen to me in Costco the other
I
day.
literally have a hat on and big sunglasses. Jacket with that thing. It was cold. The North Face jacket with the collar popped all the way up.
I had the same thing happen.
Terrifying, kind of.
No,
I mean, welcome.
I was
Part of what we do.
I got a tap on my shoulder.
Yeah, well, you were at Costco, you said.
I was at Costco. I got a tap on my shoulder. And they go, "Are you the guy?" I said, "I don't owe you money. I don't owe you money." But I got a tap on the shoulder. "You're the guy. I really like watching. It's a lot of fun." And
you talk for a little bit.
and this is awesome, right? It makes me better at what I do. I enjoy.
Let's think about the penalty box.
No, I think it's a dumb idea.
You
to
don't
be
like
honest.
the penalty box?
No, I think it's a dumb idea.
Why?
Just because I want to be difficult today.
Come on. That would be a new dimension.
Yeah, I don't know. Well, you came up. What did you come up with the other day?
Fact or fiction?
No, that I think is great.
Yeah.
And we got the buzzers to
Truth
do it.
or dare?
No, the cornhole thing.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, that was not such a good idea.
No, well, the cornhole would be tougher. The other idea I came up
no,
with.
we're not paying pong. We're not paying beer pong. We're not.
With water in the cups.
Yeah,
There's
these
water in the cups.
People listen and watch the show enough to know.
Water in the
that
cups.
may-
Well, I'm going to try to flesh out the penalty box. We should try to flesh it out.
Yes, sir.
And then we do like a mural behind the wall.
Okay.
All right.
Yes, dear. Yes, dear.
Thank you. I'm trying to be creative.
Yes, dear.
Keith Smith, my friend. Yes, Realty Partners. Judah Wickhauer, my friend. The director of the show. I know. I just saw it for the first time, too. And I got to figure out what I'm going to talk about on the next show. So,
Really?
yeah.
I can hang out.
Well, we got some ideas.
I got nothing going on.
You got Dr. Richardson now suing the city. Did you see that?
Yeah.
So we got a former police chief and a former city manager both suing the city.
Yeah. You know,
It's crazy.
it's their right to do that. Right. And I'm probably now going to end this in getting myself into more trouble. It's their right to do that, right? Absolutely. It's just, even my family from up north, when they were down, just was like, what the hell are you guys doing?
Yeah.
Right?
It's embarrassing.
Yeah, it's a little,
And we don't even live in the city. I mean,
Yeah.
obviously I own a company that's tied to the city.
Yeah,
but anytime you live around Charlottesville, whether
Well-
it's Keswick or Fluvanna, people say, you just live in Charlottesville.
well,
From outside the area.
we talked about this 100 times. If you leave the area, I'm not from Fluvanna County.
From Charlottesville.
I'm from Charlottesville.
Yeah.
That's exactly right. Look, it's their right to do that, right? And I support their right to do that. I'm not going to pick a side at all.
Okay.
But it's not helping our image.
No.
And
And I would say that of the two lawsuits, Brackney,
You know what it's
maybe
really going to
more-
hurt?
Maybe more understandable. Richardson signed a non-disclosure agreement.
Yeah, but
and
if he-
got paid $250,000.
Have you ever signed one of them?
A non-disclosure? Yeah.
So, and I have signed plenty of them,
Yeah.
and it may have been under duress. So the point is,
Under duress? Here's $250,000.
okay, I get it. I'm trying to.
Have you ever signed a non-disclosure agreement where you
Maybe
got a
yes,
$250,000
maybe no, yes.
Where you got a $250,000 lump sum?
No. Maybe
No?
yes, maybe your bat watch is going off.
Yeah, I know.
The-
That's my wife saying she liked your idea.
Really? Did she really?
Yes. Cutting a 14-foot tree on 81, 8 hours.
With a trailer, I got straps.
On
It's
the top of the
No,
truck.
no. That's unsafe.
That's unsafe.
Mrs. Miller,
Right?
100% unsafe.
Thank you.
100% unsafe.
Thank you.
I love.
Going to 80 miles an hour on
I-
81?
I love you all way too much. That's an unsafe
It's
act.
unsafe.
But I've got a trailer that you can put a hitch on the back of your truck, and then it'll be fine. I will be able to sleep at night knowing that there was safety on the end of it. Look, back on the end of it, it's their right to do that, right?
Yeah.
I defend their right to do that, and it should go through the process. Here's where I think the difficulty is going to lie. The difficulty is going to lie in them trying to hire somebody. Because this is going to, this is going to be front page news, right? So now this new council that's going to get seated, right? They've got an interim, right? And we don't, they're going to go through the process of hiring, right? Which is probably going to take a year. And now all this is going to be going on simultaneously, and it's just not. It's not a good image for the city to do that. It could impact the pool of candidates that are trying to put their in there. But I defend their right to do it, without a doubt.
There you go. There you go. We thank the sponsors for being a part of the show.
And they still stayed on after the
Holiday
show. Look at
season
that.
and many continued blessings. Thank you, Yona. Ally Property Management, Segura Solar, Keller Williams Alliance, Closure Title, and Settlement Company. Yes Realty Partners.
Yeah, the list.
Dave Fafara, Chandoa Joe's, Scott Morris.
Yep, just keep on going.
I mean, just the best of the best.
Interstate Service Company.
Interstate Service Company, a home's best friend.
Pearl.
Interstate Service Company, Pearl certification. I'm surprised you didn't get Joe Gentile asking you to come on recently.
Well,
we love you, Joe Gentile.
Well, he's in the works, right?
Yeah.
But
we got the holiday Joe Gentile coming on.
Well, actually, one of the things we're working on is some sort of cook-off, some sort of chili cook-off.
In the penalty box.
In the freaking penalty box.
That could
right?
be such a dynamic set.
And I have to tell you, one of my,
That's a great idea.
it's a wonderful idea. It's Yona now knows. Yona, when Keith says it's a wonderful idea, that means it's a really crappy idea.
It's a great idea.
Honey, it's wonderful.
It's like the Tonight Show that has the secondary set.
Okay, I'm in.
No.
But interesting we had drinks out at Dairy Central, and the fellas at Dairy Central, Dairy Market, just absolutely are knocking it out of the ballpark.
We got to get Chris back on the program.
Well, I'm actually working on that with Jody and trying to bring some in there.
Good.
So at the moment, on Friday, I'm trying to bring in a state guy from the Home Builders Association and a local one to talk about new construction, but, you know,
They're pretty busy.
everybody's super busy
Yeah.
this time of the year, and now that we're all in person, it's just the schedules are getting a little bit wonky to get in that, but we're working on that.
Okay.
Well, good luck at 12:30.
Thank you. Peace, man.
Remember, yes, maybe no,
yes,
maybe no, yes.
Yes, Realty Partners, Real Talk, Monday Market Monitor, guys. We appreciate you joining
This
us.
is the longest one we've ever done on Monday.
Second longest.
No, on a Monday it's the longest.
Oh, it's the longest Monday by far. Not even close. We appreciate you guys joining us. We will see you in 33 minutes on the I Love Seville show with some news to cover from the week that just went by. Thank you for joining us, and we can't wait to touch base with you in 33 minutes on the program. Take care. Maybe, yes, maybe notice. Don't you think